From the bayous in Louisiana to the timber country up north, you'll find them out on the trap line, chasing furs to put up on the board, mixing up another batch of that magical stuff, chilling around the fire after the show. Hey, it's Sarah and Jeff, and maybe a guest on the Trapping Radio 2.0.
Welcome to Trapping Radio. It's been just a hot minute since we've put a show up, and we are here in New York, and we just got done with the Elite Trapping Seminar, and we're out here fishing with Chris, and we've been chasing walleye and lakers and all kinds of stuff, so we're still out here on the boat, and we have a couple rods out, and so if you hear a background noise, it is the, what's that, that's running, the trolling motor or something?
Yep.
And so that's just a little bit of background noise, but it's beautiful out here, and we thought we'd just hop on and just have a little chat. Chris has been in the trapping business for a long time, and he's a great trapper, and he's got lots of stories, and we've been sharing stories the past couple of days, and thought, well, let's just do a trapping radio show. So, welcome.
Thank you
to the show. I guess we'll thank our sponsors real quick. We have F&T Fur Harvesters, everything you need for trapping, hunting with hounds, and predator calling. And they just had their open house a couple weeks ago, and it was pretty awesome. And they had, a lot of people there and a lot of demos, and it was really fun. And congratulations to them on a beautiful facility and the great service that they provide to their customers. And then we have Funky Trap Tags with Alan. And he's in Iowa, and you know Alan, Chris, right?
I do.
Yep, great guy. He takes good care of you, doesn't he?
Perfect.
Yep. He's been out fishing too.
Yeah, he was here last August.
Yep. So, all right. Well, what are we gonna talk about, Jeff? Jeff's here with us too. So,
just cool being floating around out here in the middle of Lake Erie.
Yep.
Limit of walleye in the cooler. Almost a limit of lake trout.
Yeah. What are we waiting on? One trout.
And we got steelhead in there.
Steelhead and nice brown trout.
Yeah.
So you've been fishing this summer, huh?
Yeah, that's been keeping me pretty busy.
Yep.
Fish.
Fishing. Yep. We got a nice setup here to go out and fish, so.
Yeah, we were just talking about the seasonality of things now, which is nice. Just about the time you get tired to do something, you look forward to switching gears and doing something else. Pretty neat.
Yep. So you've been catching walleye and trout, and then what are you going to switch to? You were talking about next week.
Yeah, the next week we'll switch over to perch and fish them probably through the end of October, and then it gets to be trapping time.
I really like the question you asked him earlier about trapping versus fishing.
The question I asked him was, and he can re-answer it, is that it's like with trapping, you never ever know it all. You never are that accomplished at it. I mean, you think you're doing really good, and then you're not. And so the question was, being out here catching so many fish, do you ever get to the point of where there's just really, there's always something to learn, but not really that much. I'm about as good as I'm going to get. I go out and limit out almost every time. What's your thoughts on
that? Yes and no. With trapping's a lot more involved. There's just so much more to it than there is to fishing. But there's always plenty more to learn. We catch a lot of fish, but can always be a little better at it. And I'm always trying to improve my technique from the beginning, just from this season, from the beginning of the season to now. I've changed a few things over and try to get faster and more efficient. I mentioned to Sarah yesterday that sometimes when the fishing's really good, the hardest part is getting your gear back in the water so you can catch more. So it's gear management, time management. But yeah, as soon as I do think I know it all about fishing, I'll come out here and get skunked. So I'm willing to learn. When I first got back here on the lake, I'd been in a different business for my entire adult life, and then I switched gears about 4 or 5 years ago. And I got back out here, and this lake is so big. There's so much water. It can be pretty intimidating, but every year it seems to be getting a little bit smaller. You get to know the country a little better. It's the same as hunting or trapping a piece of ground. You really get to know it intimately.
Like on over here on the New York side, like in Ohio, I know they have some marshes up there. I think it's the feds put out leases where you bid on them, I think. Anyways, there's marshes over there for muskrat trapping. Do you guys have that same thing over here in New York?
No, on Lake Erie we don't have any of that in this country. It's the majority of our shoreline is cliffs.
Mm-hmm.
And
so cat trapping.
Yeah. It's definitely for trapping. It's definitely a barrier.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good corridor along the lake shore. I don't trap over this way in this county, but I know some guys that do, and they do pretty well.
Well, I think if you went downtown here and had the right bait, you'd probably catch something bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Chris, he goes out of state. Like you go out to North Dakota trapping coyotes and muskrats,
yeah.
and which caught my ear. And then you go to Mississippi. What other places have you trapped?
Besides my home ground here, I've been in Mississippi, North Dakota, and Texas.
Texas. I trapped all. I haven't trapped New York, but I gotta say that if you all you had to do was say muskrats, and I'm like, yeah, you got me. I wouldn't care. There aren't any in Texas, as far as I know. But if you just said Texas, I wouldn't have cared. I'd have went Texas. So I guess North Dakota's it.
Yeah, that spring rat trip is fun. I didn't go this past year. Their water was low and they had a real rough winter, and so I'm looking forward to this spring. They got plenty of water, and the rat population should be high, and it's a grind. Catching a couple of hundred of anything in a day is a lot of work, but it's a lot of fun. I said earlier, you get to watch spring happen up there.
Yeah.
All the ducks and geese are heading back north. They're just millions and millions of birds, and it's there's always something to see.
How many years have you been going up there?
About 4.
4 years. How'd you decide to go up there?
I had heard, I'd heard about that spring rat trapping, and I saw Rich Casper's and Ron Hauser's videos of the South Dakota trapping.
Yeah.
And I learned quite a bit from both of them. Those are 2 pretty good videos to watch. And South Dakota kicked out the non-resident trappers for the spring season a few years ago. So I figured North Dakota was the next best thing. And I talked to a bunch of fellas and did a little research and started making phone calls and found a place to stay and packed my shit and away I went.
Yep.
Yeah, it's always weird, like you said about they kicking out, basically kicking us non-residents out for the spring season. It's always weird to me that they don't do that with the fishing. I mean, why don't they just get rid of all the non-residents with the fishing? And that, that's too bad, because it's just one more thing to divide trappers with.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I mean, what are rats running? A couple bucks a piece. I mean, nobody's going out there, for a living, trying to make a living, non-resident trapping in South Dakota rats right now. 2012, 13. I think that's what put the kilt on it when you start getting $16 rats and probably almost gunfights are happening out there.
Yeah, when there was a $10 average, everybody was out there, and apparently a lot of the non-resident guys weren't too crazy about it. And now they can't get anybody out there, and all the roads are caving in.
Now they got to pay.
Mm-hmm.
They're either going to pay somebody to catch them or pay to fix their roads.
Or both.
But and you're good friends with Clint. We always called you Clint's personal chef. So, like Sarah asked, I know how you got the name, but how do you think you got the name?
I know. I said, is that even a true story? How did this come about?
Oh, it's a true story.
Yeah, I'd see Clint at shows, and I had been in the restaurant business before, so I'd always come armed with some equipment and a bunch of food, and Clint never threw me out of his camp.
No.
So you cooked for him at the shows?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And like at Herkimer, I look over there, and there's Clint. He had just bought that big RV.
Oh, it's been his RV days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it won't be up before that, but that's one time. And
okay.
You look over there, and there's Clint with his big RV, kicked out in his fancy lawn chair, and then got his personal chef over there. Him and Cindy are drinking margaritas,
You were stuck in the van interviewing Russ Carmen.
That's right. Yeah, 'cause I was going to come over there and eat, and then I was interviewing Russ.
Oh, that's not a bad place to be either.
No.
I'd sit in the van with him all day.
No, we sat there talking for about 2 hours before we turned it on, and I was like, we better turn this on before Russ gets tired, I won't get tired. I just sit there and listen to him all day. But, that's one reason I was looking forward to going to Oktoberfest, was to see Russ, in case Russ happened to show up, and I haven't seen him in a year. I want Sarah to meet him. Probably one of the nicest guys I ever met in the whole trapping.
I didn't see him at the New York show. Was he there this year?
If he was, I didn't see him. Humble guy. He can't be. It's hard to beat Russ Carmel. But like when you're going to these different states and stuff, like are you doing, like say you go to Texas, are you going there just go down there because like if I went down there, I'm just going down there trapping because that's what I want to do. Is that what you're doing, or are you doing like predator control?
Yeah, predator control. I try to fool myself into thinking it's a real job.
Mm-hmm.
But I was down there this spring. A friend of a friend owns a high-end whitetail outfit down there, and he wanted somebody to hit the predators hard before all the fawns drop. They've got whitetails, and then they've got a high fence area with a bunch of exotics. So we worked out a little deal, and went down there and took care of business for him.
How many acres is that? Yes.
That was a smaller piece. That was a 5,000 acre piece, which sounds like a lot of ground, but that's a postage stamp in Texas.
Yeah.
So I worked the perimeter. I worked the perimeter real hard, the fence, and then set the interior up on that small of a piece of property. If you're a fur trap and you wouldn't go in and just carpet bomb a property like that.
No.
You'd want to catch what you can and move down the road, but I was there to catch everything, so I did my best to do that.
No, that's when we went down there. That's why I had trouble. They had 41 miles of roads on 10,000 acres, and it's like I could see the next intersection, and it looked just like the one I was standing at, and there's piles of coyote shit all over, and then you get to the next one, and it looks just the same. And I had told Norm, I said, what do you do? Set every spot? Yep, just set every spot.
Yeah, you end up trapping again.
Isn't this fun? Just set this spot, moved up to the next one, set the next one. So it was fun, like if you found a crawl under, because they had predator wire down. And so, they had started digging underneath the predator wire, but, it was fun to find something like that was kind of a change up, or put in some cat sets. And pretty soon I was like skipping over roads. I'm like, once I got out of sight, then I was doing what was fun, not the production thing.
Yeah, you're trapping against yourself when you're really loading up. But if that's what you're there to do, that's what you have to do.
But that's what we trapped. It was 11,000 acres. I had 5,000. Norm had 5,000. There was a big gate right down through the middle, and there was parts of that 5,000 that I was still not seeing new stuff on it. Even the last week we were there.
Yeah, I think the day I left was the day I started getting the place figured out pretty good.
That's about how it was. I was starting to see where I might be able to blind set some coyotes and stuff. Because, as soon as we started catching them, seeing the shit at the crossroads was all done. They were cutting through the middle of the sections instead of going, running down the roads. Yeah, when you're on a little piece of ground like that, the initial shock sets in, and then everything changes.
I think that's a lot of places. I try to set a lot of traps wherever I am. Mm-hmm. So you go in and set the heck out of it, and some areas you'll keep a consistent catch going, but for the majority of places, those first couple of 2, 3, 4 checks are where it's at. Mm-hmm. They you're in their bedroom, so they get you figured out a little bit.
You probably, once you get down there and, you're on that guy's ranch, you'll probably, start picking up other jobs if you wanted them and stuff. I never wanted to do that. We were down there trapping the guys that owned that Buc-ee's gas stations. That's whose ranch we were paying. And they paid big money to, have us down there. There was other ones talking to us, but I'm like, it wasn't my thing. After I seen that big ass rattlesnake, I'm like, yeah, this isn't really my thing. And then Clint starts talking about these rattlesnakes where he was at this other ranch are all over. Then you start talking about these tarantulas running down the road, and I'm like, man, I don't want to make that call to Albert.
But you did.
But I did. So we might be going to South Texas, but I'll tell you what. I swear to God, I'm going to take like half a truckload of bullets, because I ain't a real good shot, and I'm just going to be shooting the shit out of tarantulas, scorpions. I shoot everything.
I'll take 100 rattlesnakes over one of those cottonmouths in Mississippi.
I don't like them either.
I stayed down there a little later than I normally do this year into March, and it was the last couple of weeks it was in the 90s, and it got pretty snaky. It was buckets full of them. An old fella down there I was talking to, he had been bit when he was younger, and we were talking about snakes, and he says, "You won't die, you just wish you would." I guess it doesn't feel too good, but
no, I bet not.
I saw you showed us a picture of you eating good down in Mississippi. Saw that big crawfish.
Oh yeah, me and my buddy Cedric. For the most part, I do. I take care of all my own meals. You're trapping dark to dark. You bring a little something for lunch and come back, have a quick bite to eat, and then start skinning. But every once in a while, we'd run down to Vicksburg, and the one fellow who owns a duck club that I trapped has a nice little restaurant down there in Vicksburg, and we go down there and put a hurting on a mountain of crawfish and shrimp.
Yeah, we were talking earlier, you said, and I think it's, a lot of people don't realize the scale like you said, when you are trapping from dark to dark, the amount of fur that you catch, and then the carcasses, and utilizing all that and skinning all that, it just adds up quick.
Yeah, it's I try not to waste any time. You know, every minute you can save is another minute of sleep, and
That's the same
it makes a
policy I have,
big
but I
difference.
don't never do that. I waste so much time.
Yep.
Sarah might even call it lollygagging.
Yeah, I'm guilty of that too at times. But every once in a while, I'll make myself slow down and take a look around, go see something that I hadn't seen, and
We're like polar opposites.
appreciate what I'm doing.
Once in a while, make myself speed up a little.
That's true.
Sarah
how do
cracks
you-
the whip.
How do you manage all that stuff? What have you learned? Or if somebody is going on an out-of-state trip, you know, what are the things that you've learned that how to deal with all this?
You know, the first time you go somewhere, you know, you're gonna catch some stuff, but don't have these dreams of hundreds or thousands of critters, and you know, go down there, learn the country, learn the critters, learn the people, and the speed will come. You know, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I try to do it, not always effectively, but you know, do it right first, and then the speed will come.
Sure.
You know, a lot of little tricks you pick up along the way.
Yeah, that's great advice. Learn the people and the people that you're around, and you know, the people you see at the gas stations and talk to, and the land you're trapping on. I mean, that makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, I mean, your first impression is everything, and then they know somebody, and they know somebody, and before you know it, you've got a pile of phone numbers. But
yeah. I'll once I get down there, and even now, I'm still getting calls. You know, last year my phone was just ringing out of my pocket. I'd been down there for a few years, and you get to know a lot of folks, and they spread the word, and that's the best advertising there is walking billboards, no matter what business you're in.
So how do you manage bringing all the equipment? Me and Jeff are opposites on all this. So what's your take? How do you manage how many traps you're bringing, how much freezer space you're bringing, how much you can handle and deal with all that?
You can't have too many freezers. You never have too many of them. I travel. I've got 4 of them in my trailer, and a couple more that I'll leave down there. And I started leaving a bunch of gear there. You know, with that type of work down there, all the gear is heavy. The majority of it is 330s and great big footholds. So I left a big pile of it down there, just to cut down on the weight. And I've got gear there. I've got gear in Texas. I got gear. I think I got 30 dozen traps out in North Dakota. So if I ever fall over and croak, my son's gonna have to take a long road trip to go pick up all that stuff. But just the fur management alone. You know, you're trapping. You know, it doesn't take a whole lot of 60, 70 pound beavers to fill up a chest freezer. My friend, a good friend, Randy, he was down for a few weeks with me in the beginning of the trip. He hauled a load home for me. My son Chris normally will come down for a week or so, and he'll haul a load of stuff home for me and stuff it in the freezers we've got up here. And it'd be nice to have a market down there, but there just isn't one.
You mentioned the raccoon market. I've had a little bit of experience in that.
With
Selling the carcasses.
the carcass
anyway.
market.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of it's more trouble than it's worth. But I've got the one fella, Cedric, who I had mentioned, my crawfish eating buddy. He, I gave him all the raccoon carcasses, and he takes care of a lot of the older folks down there, and they really appreciated having them. So I'd rather give them away than sell them.
Yeah. What other state are you looking at trapping at? Or you got your bases covered, or?
Yeah, I'd like to trap all of them. I'd like to do a little more western trapping. I'd like to trap Wyoming. I'd like to trap the western half of North Dakota. I haven't been over in that country yet. That Badland stuff is pretty interesting.
Yeah, we just spent some time with Chappie, and he is now a Wyoming resident, and he was talking about catching cats in Wyoming and coyotes and working on the farms out there. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, that sounds like fun going out there.
Yeah, there's always plenty to do.
Well, you're welcome in Michigan anytime.
Good.
Yep, anytime.
Yeah, 2 words I don't think I've ever said are I'm bored.
No.
There's always too much. There's always more that I should be doing instead of what I'm doing.
Yeah, a lot of days you're looking for, I wish I was bored.
Well, we sure nailed it pretty good with this weather. It couldn't be any prettier out here.
That's what you said. What, and then tomorrow and the next couple of days is all turning bad, huh?
Tomorrow's going to be nice. Wednesday night it's gonna turn, and it's flat now. And Friday there'll probably be 6, maybe 7 footers out here.
I'd rather fish then. Then you really accomplish something. I want to see you at your best.
And we had one of your peers out here a week or so ago, Scott Welsh and his wife. And we had a great trip, but the wind kicked up and we had a pretty rough ride home.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
14 miles and 5 footers going into them. It was a little bumpy, but part of the deal.
Yeah. Well, it's been perfect weather. Anytime you can go out, like you said, that you get back to the dock, and you got a limit of walleyes. I mean, shit, you can't beat that. And it's really great because especially when you got somebody that flays all of them for you and cuts the live bulbs out. I mean, shit, this deal just, we may never leave ever.
Yeah, it's getting to the point where I filleted enough walleyes for the season.
How many have you caught this year?
Yesterday we started at 1398, so we're probably around 1450 some now.
So you're closed in on your 1500 mark you're shooting.
Yep, I need 2 more trips.
Or one good one.
One really good one.
You gotta get about 10 people on this boat.
Yeah.
You coyote trapped up to North Dakota, right? And you coyote trapped down to Texas. You coyote trapped in New York and in Mississippi. And so, with going to them different spots with the different coyotes, what have you seen as far as the difference in going from one area to another? Trapping the coyotes. I mean, I know what my experience has been, but I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are on, different areas.
A coyote's a coyote to a certain degree. Ones around here, these northeastern coyotes might be a little sharper. I don't think the population's as dense, and they get shot at a bunch, and not much trapping pressure on them now. But the coyotes in Mississippi, they're, I try to not catch them, and we end up catching a whole bunch of them.
Because I'm in Mississippi, Louisiana, they'll push them sets like you were talking about. When we were talking before this, you make cat sets, and there you come back and you got a coyote, standing in your cat set.
Yeah, you basically build a maze for them to try to the cat to get through, and then you got a coyote bouncing there.
Like in northern Michigan, if you set that, you ain't never catching a coyote. And then what would you say, the South Texas ones? Did they vary even more in what you did, like a Mississippi coyote compared to a South Texas coyote?
The only time I trapped South Texas was in late May and early June, and they were all paired up raising pups, and they were a little tougher to catch. I don't think they were moving too much. there's a rabbit under every bush down there, and I don't think they really had to travel. I'm looking forward to being down there in late winter and seeing the activity.
Yeah.
But
So, note to myself, we will be out of Texas by May when the trenches come.
I would hope so.
That was just inside voices.
Yeah.
yeah, those North Dakota coyotes, they're beautiful. They're really, really nice critters, and they it was the same thing. You know, by the time you leave, you just start to get that, you know, that country and those critters figured out a little bit better. But you know, they're catchable. But those coyotes there, I think they travel such big country, and they cover a lot more ground.
Yeah.
Whereas those South Texas coyotes that time of year, I don't think they might not have moved half a mile.
Yeah, because that was the part down to South Texas that I was shocked at, is the food base that the predators have down there. I mean, just for fun, we were seeing how many mice we could catch. You know, I went and bought some mouse traps and was setting them out around by the cactuses, right around in the yard. And I don't remember how many I caught, but it was a bunch. You know, and you know, you got rabbits, and it's like crazy the amount of rodents.
Yeah.
So they really don't have, like you say, don't have to travel. It's weird that they, you know, they got all this food to eat, and the one thing that'll get them killed is eat a $10,000 deer, and that's the decision they make. You know. Probably a lot of them are probably cats down there, because there's so many damn cats. A coyote, no, if a deer's dead, it's a coyote's fault.
Yeah, I think the coyotes get blamed for everything.
Yeah. I talked to a guy out west, and he says that he was a government trapper. He said a lot of times when he pulls in there, he said it's the farmers, you know, the ranchers' dogs that, you know, or somebody else's dogs came in and killed it. And he said you're never going to tell them that it was a dog and it wasn't a coyote. But he said there ain't even a coyote track there; it's all dog track. So, not that they don't do any damage, but
yeah, or something else killed it, and then the coyotes there eating on it.
yeah.
But I think they get their fair share too.
Yep. But no, it's definitely like you're going out to North Dakota and doing all that stuff, and then, you know, traveling around. I mean, I know how much fun it is, and you know, it makes for an interesting life to go see different parts of the country.
Yeah, I'm not getting any younger, and I've seen so many guys, whether it be with trapping or a hunting trip, or I'm going to do that someday, and they just don't. So, it was an interesting conversation. First, I'll start off by, all right, so we go to the motel. We get done fishing last night. We go to the motel, which we can just walk to our motel, and Sarah went in to check us in. I put all the bags outside there because where we're at, I didn't want to leave our shit there because half of it probably would have been stolen or could have been. So she come out and I says, I'm gonna go park the truck. Well, I had to go way down to park the truck. I come back and there's Sarah talking to these two old guys. And part of the conversation was really sad, about his grandson and stuff, what he wasn't doing, but tell Chris about, the conversation that you were had with this guy.
Well, he talked a lot, and he started talking about, I overheard him talking to the lady that checked us in. She was outside, and talking about, he starts talking about trapping with her. And so I'm listening, he's like, yeah, I used to trap muskrats, and so then I said, well, we started talking about trapping. I said, he asked where I was from, what I was doing. I said, well, it's funny. I said, we just got back from the New York Elite Trapping Seminar, and we trap, and we have bait and lure companies, and so we were talking about that, and he starts, then about that time, Jeff showed up, and he just starts.
And I walk up, here we go. She's talking to somebody about trapping again. We're on a fishing trip.
Right, talking about she-traps. I was showing him my hoodie and all the things.
Oh, yeah.
But he was just very negative, and he's like, I used to trap. I used to. The prices aren't worth anything anymore. And you know, what's the point of it? And then we talked a little bit about prices, and Jeff said, well, you know, it's not all bad. The beaver prices are up, and he still just wasn't having any part of it, I felt. Didn't you feel that way?
I felt
He's just very negative.
I see this a lot on Facebook where you see somebody say, in 1980 I got this for stuff and the prices were great. Well, there's been like 5 fur booms since then. They've been shorter. But so you haven't trapped since 1982, you know. So, I mean, the rats, you know, look at 2012-13. He knew nothing about them. You know, the prices being so high and the rats building since 2007. But he was, like you're saying, very, very, very negative towards why he didn't do trapping anymore.
Right. And then,
until he had
and then he says, well, you know, I have a grandson, and I'd like to take him out trapping.
And this was the really sad part to me.
And what'd he say? It's just, there's no money in it. And he said, there's no money in it. And I said, you know what? It's not about the money. It's about the memories. And it's about the tradition. I said, you take your grandson out, and I guarantee you he'll never forget the memories he made when you took him out. You know, and that's something he could pass down to, you know, his children. And he didn't really say anything after that. And we got on the elevator, and he had changed his whole just attitude about it. And he says, well, you know, I said, well, just follow us on Facebook. And then he asked, he says, how do I get more information about what's going on in the trapping? And we told him, you know, just follow our page. And I truly feel, and me and Jeff both agreed, we truly felt in our heart that he was going to take his grandson out. He never said that, but we both got the feeling that he just might take his grandson out.
The seed was definitely planted that, you know, you know, but his grandson, the thing is, everybody always wants their grandson to remember them, you know, and I don't think that guy, the way it seemed like he had made a memory that he thought that his grandson would always remember him. He was looking for that, it seemed like, and I think that, you know, he remembered, whoever got him into trapping, he was thinking about them, and I think that he is going to go on and do something. I really believe that he was going to take his grandson out. If he doesn't, he should get his ass kicked.
Even if we had $100 coyotes and $50 coons, you know, a year later the money's all pissed away, and all you're left with is some pictures and some really good memories.
Yep.
I love the guys who'll defend trapping with, you know, they're wildlife conservationists, and they're doing it for the health of the other animals, and then the prices drop out.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm not trapping because there's no money in it.
Yep. I don't turkey hunt. I don't deer hunt. I'm fishing today, but if all the otters ate all the fish in Lake Erie, I really don't care. You know, I mean, that's just me. I mean, I'll just go fish somewhere else. But I would think, my God, how many otters will I be able to catch here? You know, basically, a turkey's just food for the stuff that I like to go do. You know, but if other people want to go out and, you know, protect the wildlife and stuff, great. But that's not why I'm doing it. I do it because I like to go do it. It's like nice to be out there and, you know, doing all that stuff. So I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong answer. Even people doing it for the money, you know. I mean, but I think as a trapping group, I think we're better off with having a bunch of people in it now that are doing it. They never. The people have got into it since 2012-13 have never seen any money. They're only doing it because they like to do it. And COVID's seen a real increase in the numbers. COVID was the best thing that ever happened to trapping, you know, in a long time, because I mean it really spurred a lot of people to get into it and outdoor activities, and you know.
Yeah, a lot of guys, you know, they're deer hunters on their, you know, when the season's over, they're on their own ground or on their lease, and then they want to go out and catch some coyotes, and they get them tanned and they hang them up in their camp or their house, and you know, there's more of them than there are of us now.
Yep. And the next wave in all this is the women. You know, I mean, every year, like just Wisconsin women. I mean, you guys had what, 40?
We had 40 last year, 40 this year. Got the class is full again for next year. I wouldn't be surprised if the waiting list has already started for the following year after that. Pretty cool. Just the community that we have built, just with us, women, is just, it's really impressive and so supportive of each other and just encouraging, and it's really fun to see that side of things coming from like just the guys that always have to have the better opinion or their right opinion or kind of thing. It's different in the women. It's different in the women groups. We're all, I just saw this video. Maybe it'll help you guys if you have a hole in your boot. Stuff like that. I mean,
I think it'd probably be easier to teach women to trap than men because men know everything already.
Oh, way easier.
I see that with shooting and especially the fishing. Mm-hmm. You give a lady the rod and tell her what to do, and you tell her once, and then she's willing to learn, and most guys know everything already, so you can't teach them anything.
Because they've done it before and they weren't necessarily doing it right, and and guys take it more to heart. Part of their self-worth is hooked to, say, like trapping, and if you go on Facebook and you tell somebody, no, you're wrong on what you're saying, you're like hitting them in their self-worth. I don't know why that is like that, but it is like that. Where you can really, damage somebody.
We got fish.
Let her roll. All right.
Oh, that's a big one, Sarah.
It's a big one.
Oh, shit.
Oh, geez.
Well, Sarah's reeling around. Reeling and reeling. This will have to be the cover for if you get it in here for the show.
Yeah, this will be what, our last fish of the trip.
This is the last fish of the trip right here. Yeah. This is something Clint never did. Oh, I got off.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it goes.
That's how it goes.
Well, if you haven't lost many, you haven't caught many.
No. Well, it was exciting for a moment. You've got a lot of them in.
I want my phone to get too hot. It's sitting out here in the sunshine.
What does Clint say the 4 things most guys think they're really good at? Driving, shooting, starting a fire and making love, and most of them aren't any good at any of them.
That's true. Yep. So when you get done doing the perch, what'll be the next step on, will you just like trap here in New York for a while, or will you just head out to somewhere else?
I'll trap here some in New York. Our land season starts October 25th, and I'll do some. I won't hit it real hard around here. Mm-hmm. The water season starts November 15th. I'll try to catch a bunch of beavers and rats, and then we get into our deer season, and mm-hmm. I'll do some trapping, but probably more hunting with my older son. He and I hunt together quite a bit. My younger guy's down in North Carolina. He might make it up for a day or two. And my brother hunts a little bit. It's kind of a family thing. And the next thing you know, it's Christmas, and I'll be packing up for Mississippi. I'm going to head down there probably just before the new year. A lot of the properties down there aren't accessible until February. Their deer and duck season goes to the end of January.
Yeah.
But a lot of the agricultural ground in the catfish farms and a bunch of other places I can get on. So I'll try to get as much of that done in January as possible, and then come February, a lot of those hunting properties, those duck clubs are just they're heaven. I mean, there's lots and lots of critters.
Yeah, that's what we want to do is if we go to Louisiana this year, I'll go down there on the, like I was telling you, on the crawfish ponds and the catfish ponds and stuff like that. But you track northern Louisiana so much, you're just ready to go see some other part of it.
Are there a lot of otters up there in the northern part?
I've caught the most otters I've ever caught over in Northwest, but it's not a high population. There's way more over there on the eastern side, because you got the river. I don't know about the southern Louisiana. I've never trapped down there, so I hear stories, and I looked at the stats because you could get the number of otter tagged in different parishes, and I would look at those, and and there was I think it was Jefferson Davis was one of the highest ones in Louisiana, but it could be deceiving because it could just be somebody down there just beating the living crap out of them. And if somebody looked at them records and was going to make a decision to go, and they went trap Beanville Parish and ones like that, it's not a high otter population compared to other parts of the state. It was just that's where I was at, and nobody else was trapping the two parishes over. So.
Yeah. Down in Mississippi, where I buy my size tags, the lady, I've gotten to know her a little bit. You see her every year, and she told me that I bought more otter tags than they've sold cumulatively to everybody else. So there's just not a lot of folks.
They're not
doing
chasing otters for $20. Well, the price is up to $35, so I've heard. So you've already doubled. Now you're going to have competition.
My otters paid pretty good last year. So I was pleasantly
Ours haven't
surprised.
paid pretty good yet. They've only cost us money, but we're hoping to sell some. We got them tanned out to Bend.
I saved
They're going to have to be pretty good sellers for me to go skin 40 some otters feet out again. That was a lot of work skinning all them otter. You know how many feet are on 40 otter?
probably about 160.
Yeah. Well, some of them.
And how many toes?
Yeah. Toes, I should ask him toes. If you count their eyes and divide by 2, you'll get the right number. But it just really is, like you say, it's an awesome place to go. You know.
And if you want to catch a lot of something, you better go where a lot of something is.
Yeah. You ever get like down there when you're trapping them catfish ponds? Because like I said, I never have. Do you ever get to go out there catfishing, or they don't let you catfish? You're not supposed to play the part of the otter.
Oh, I'm sure I could, but I'm always running around like my hair's on fire. The one fellow, Mr. Clarence, I've gotten to be pretty good friends with him. He runs the one farm. He's going to come up and turkey hunt with me this spring here, and he lets me know when they're seining the ponds, and I'll go over and hang out and watch that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
They put a little John boat in there and run a net around the perimeter, and then you just keep pulling that net in and pulling it tighter and tighter and tighter, and then they've got 80,000 pounds of fish there. And they bring in the big tanker trucks, and they just have a apprentice truck with a big net on it. They just keep dipping it in there, and away they go.
Wow.
Yeah, that'd be something to see.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
There's a guy over to Illinois that he does commercial fishing. I want to stop there and see him on the way back. He said he does it in February. That's what they do, is use big nets, but they're catching like buffalo and stuff.
Those are wild fish.
Yeah, but it'd be the same concept. And if, just so you know, if you ever go into like a fish market down there in Mississippi or Louisiana, and it says buffalo ribs, that's not like the animal buffalo. Them are buffalo. I didn't know that when I ordered mine. I was like, holy shit, they got buffalo ribs. Nope, they're not Tatanka.
Yeah, it's really neat getting other spots. You know, I'm there to trap and catch the animals, but making friends and meeting new folks around the country is pretty special too.
Go.
So we've made it up to February, and you're still in the South. Then what?
I'll be in Mississippi probably through about the 3rd week in February. And then the plan is to go right from there to Texas for the end of February and March. Come back home for a little bit and regroup and shove off for North Dakota for spring rats.
Yeah.
And then come back here and start fishing.
Start fishing.
Just one vicious circle.
You try to go to the conventions in the summertime, though, too. I've seen you at some conventions.
Yeah, I get to a few. I'd like to get to the nationals. I didn't make it this year. It was, up Tuscanaba. It was pretty good poke from here, and the weather was good, and I had, was planning on fishing a bunch, so that worked out okay.
And you ain't gonna make it to the one this year either.
In South Dakota, that's pretty good haul.
You think you just catch some walleyes here instead of going out there to try and catch some?
Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. But I always like getting to the New York show. I always get there.
Yeah, Herkimer's got an awesome show.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Swagler does an awesome job, putting that all together.
Yeah, for a state show, it's pretty good event.
That and Minnesota are two of our favorites. I like it with the years when they have more tailgaters in Herkimer. Probably same as you. It gives you more stuff to go out there and see and pick through.
Yeah, it was pretty light this year.
Yeah,
compared to other years.
Yeah. But you think with you talk to people and they say that everybody's getting out of trapping. You think all these used traps would be for sale, but you don't see them. I was looking to buy some 750s, but they weren't available. But and I've seen you go to Cat County, convention quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the fellas, the Cattaraugus County Trappers, they do a real nice job. They put on a good show there for a smaller little regional event. It's nice.
I don't remember what year that started. I used to, I don't know, it was like 1980 or something. They've been doing it. It probably was before that, but I don't know why 1980 was in my head, but they've been doing it for a long, long time. But I seen one of their patches, and maybe it was 80 years. I don't remember. Leon from Top Lot, they sell patches and stuff, and they had one from Cat County, and I let some of the Cat County guys go. And I told myself I'm going to buy one of them. I went to have to buy it. I should have bought it before I told them about they had some of them because they were all gone. So, but they've always treated me really good there through the years. I went there for a long time. They had a great group of guys, especially when Hoot's running the show.
Mm-hmm.
With Iron Fist.
Yeah,
not really iron.
Hoot's the man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the first time I ever met him. He, all drunked up. This big guy, great big guy, comes up there and he's like, slobbering and drunk, and I'm like, who in the hell is this? I didn't know it was one of the nicest free people you ever meet. He's just having fun. Poor Hoot.
Yeah, he's been in the business for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Doing a good job.
He's got a lot of people in the trapping.
Yeah, I don't think he's plans on buying too much, and that was really nice for a lot of guys to have a local buyer. They'd go out and catch a dozen of this or a dozen of that, and they always knew they had an outlet for it.
Yeah. Mom's probably getting tired of making hats.
Yeah, I think she sold enough hats.
Yeah. Do you ever go and fish or trap here in New York, or?
I do. The first couple of years that we had that short little season, I targeted them and caught a bunch.
Yeah.
But I don't bother with it too much now. It's only 5 checks, and early in the season, they're not worth too much. But they're a pretty cool animal.
We were over there in the Catskills and got talking to the fisher guys and stuff, and that's why I got to get back to Michigan, or at least out of New York, because it's like start getting it in my mind that I want to go out here, fisher trapping, and then it starts taking the next step, and the next step will be, so that's why I got to get out of New York before I end up back here fisher trapping this fall. Look at Sarah, she's like, all right, let's go.
I was already talking to the guys.
Yeah, because I'm sure we could stay at Chappie's. And,
I already have it all coordinated.
Yeah, I figured that. And they start talking about, well, we got, I don't remember what they said, let's say 2 million acres that you could go trap, and I'm like, shit, that 275 for a license doesn't seem that bad when I got 2 million acres to go beat on.
Yeah, there's a little bit of ground in New York isn't what a lot of people have the preconception of.
And over in that area, it's it's the only state in the north that I know of that's unlimited. Like all of New York isn't unlimited catch, but that area, you unlimited otters, unlimited bobcats, unlimited fishers, and then you can catch, I think, six play martin, so, or whatever. But I mean, that's pretty cool to have a northern state where you have where the DNR will let you. They're not game animals, I mean, they're actually fur bearers, and so shit, we'll end up out there. That's a long damn drive out there.
But not too bad for me. Maybe I'll run down there with you. You pick me up on your way through.
Deal.
We'll have to meet you over there because we go down that other road.
86.
Oh, fine. We'll swing up and get you. Talk me into it. Then Clint lost his personal chef.
Well, I'm going to be your
Speaking of
personal
personal
chef
chef tonight, yeah.
We're having a little fish fry.
Yeah. Well, shall we get out of here? Head that way.
Yeah, Sarah's got a lot of fish to clean.
Yep, we got a cooler full, and the live well still has some in it.
Sounds great.
All right, well, Chris, thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for coming up and joining me on Lake Erie.
And if you're out there and haven't known anybody that has a crawfish pond in southern Louisiana that wants trapped, we're begging spots. We're not proud. We're just trappers. Thanks everybody.
Yep. See you next time.
Thank you.